Where does employee engagement comes from? It emerges from a sense of meaning that employees are able to derive from their work. However, there's a catch. You cannot create meaning for someone. This is what I call the paradox of employee engagement. The reason for this is that meaning making is a very subjective and unique thing to each individual. Everyone makes meaning in their own way. Two people can derive different meanings from the same thing. It's all based on our value systems, our core beliefs, our circumstances, and so on. And to navigate through this challenge, the key is for the people managers to care enough about their employees at a personal level and make an effort to know them at a deeper level. Let's try to understand this with an example. Let's say there is a person whose job is to do home deliveries of groceries, and they deeply care about the elderlies of the community. Their job would be so much more meaningful for them if they're able to see how their job enables the elderlies in the community to get essential groceries on their table without leaving the safety and comfort of their home, without having to go through the trouble of harsh weather or traffic and so on. Another way of using this information, which is a little more nuanced but also a lot more effective, is when the managers are able to align the employee's job to their individual goals and organizational goals at the same time. What that means is then the employee can see their work for the organization as a means to achieve their individual goals. Now that is a mouthful. So let's see if we can understand this using a true story. The story comes from the book Radical Candor by Kim Scott, which is a great book on leadership. And this story is mentioned in chapter 7. The story is about Russ, a people manager, and one of his employees, Sarah. In one of the conversations that he was having with Sarah, he found out that what Sarah really wanted to do was run a farm. Oh man, he was perplexed. And for the right and obvious reasons. How does a job in a giant tech helps someone start their farm and run it successfully? Russ came up with a great solution after some thought, which was a win-win for all parties involved. Do you want to know what that was? It's having three conversations or three key conversations with your employees. The first one is called the life story conversation, where Russ basically tried to understand what motivates Sarah, what her life story was, how she made the choices that she made, what's important for her, and so on. The second conversation is called the dreams conversation, where the manager encourages the employee to dream big and share those really big dreams with the manager. For Sarah and Russ, this looked like identifying each of Sarah's dream, putting it into a column, and then Russ asking Sarah a very simple question. What do you think are the most important skills that you need to achieve each of these dreams? And in that conversation, they identified that Sarah could really use some management experience. And then comes the third and the final key conversation. It's called the 18-month plan conversation. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the manager basically identifies how the tasks of the job that the employee is doing right now helps them achieve the goals that they have for the long term. There was a sweet discovery in the process. Russ and Sarah both learned that for Sarah to gain those skills, staying at Google at this job would be the faster way rather than by leaving it. So that's employee retention right there for the organization. What's happening for Sarah? She suddenly is able to find way more meaning in the work that she's doing because she's able to see this work as a means to achieve her own individual goals. This gives rise to employee engagement. You guessed it right. And so in the years to come, Sarah would turn into a very effective leader. To dive deeper into this, you should pick up Russ Laraway's book, where he has gone into the details of these three conversations and much more. The book is called When They Win, You Win. And that's a wrap for today, folks. If you want to learn how you can leverage PERKFORM services to increase your company's productivity, your team's performance, and employee engagement, feel free to reach out through the contact page of my website at www.perkform.ca, or just give me a call at the number listed on the website.